This is fantastic. Now, the question that we are asking is, was it a Taliban group? Not necessarily the Haqqani group, but was it the Taliban group, a Taliban group which was behind or which was involved this plot to kill the Qaeda chief? So, Pakistan and, of course, one of the factions of the Taliban, did they collude to get rid of Ayman al-Zawahiri? Now, this is what is a key eyewitness account. Key eyewitness account that we've got just now, and we're going to put that out, ladies and gentlemen. This person was a translator, and this person was deep there. He was right there with other members, officials, because we have put out here at CNN News 18 that there were active engagements or negotiations going on with the Qaeda chief to try and move him out of Afghan soil. So one of these meetings was also scheduled, and there were other members who were present there actively engaging with Ayman al-Zawahiri. So this is the eyewitness account, and let's go straight across to this eyewitness account. Big breaking news that's just coming through the eyewitness account that we have. The eyewitness account of the attack very clearly, and this is a CNN News 18 exclusive, that the attack happened at around 6:15 a.m. in the Sherpur area of Kabul. The attack site was close to the all foreign diplomatic missions. Zawahiri was actually in a guest house in the Afghan government complex. Pakistan TTP delegation was also staying near this guest house. So the Pak Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan delegation was actually staying near this guest house. So another terror outfit which was active and which was staying near where al-Qaeda chief was staying. Sirajuddin Haqqani, soon after the strike, rushed out of Kabul to Logar. This is 40 kilometers from Kabul in 5 armored vehicles. That's what escorted him. He moved to Kabul in 4 to 6 armored vehicles, and Sirajuddin Haqqani feared that there will be a strike against him too. He will also be neutralized. So what Torek Farhadi just said, it's corroborated by the eyewitness account and the details that we are getting. Top 40 Taliban leaders have actually exited Kabul and moved to Logar and Khost, even as we speak, because they all carry bounties on their head. And this is clear open factionalism, what we can also see. Some of them have moved to Logar, some of them have moved to Khost, and they're moving out of Kabul. Sirajuddin Haqqani actually moved out thinking that he could be neutralized too, because there is a bounty on his head too. Torek Farhadi. So clearly there are factions within the Taliban. And if an Ayman al-Zawahiri is taken out, Sirajuddin Haqqani could have thought that meri bhi bari hai. But will the Pakistanis give up Haqqani too? Because he is seen as Pakistan's man in the Taliban government there.
Yes, but the Americans wouldn't take out Haqqani at this time. In fact, one of the questions that President Biden had asked his team is, if we do this attack, how would the Taliban react? So this was just, the Americans needed al-Zawahiri. He was a sort of a moniker, a brand to take out. And it's convenient for campaign purposes, for the 1-year anniversary of America out of Afghanistan, for the elections in November. It's convenient. But beyond that, the Americans would like Taliban to reform, to stabilize Afghanistan. The Americans are not after toppling the Taliban regime. Yes, they might be after reinforcing some factions rather the others, or rebalancing the power, because after on August 15, 2021, basically when the Haqqani faction came into Kabul and took the presidential palace and important ministries, the Mullah brother was watching all of this from Doha. So when he arrived 10 days later, all the good positions, the money positions, the Ministry of Finance, the central bank, all of that was taken, basically. So, yeah, the Americans might be after rebalancing the situation and also introducing other Afghan politicians in order to create some sort of stability in Afghanistan. But they are certainly not after taking Haqqani out. If they were, they would have done it already.
Well, clearly, so that question down has to change. It's not the Haqqani group behind the plot, a Taliban group, one of the factions of the Taliban group. Is it behind the plot? So we will just change that at the bottom of our screen. But now we got more news coming through. The NRF the National Resistance Front has issued a statement, and that's coming through. So this is the Ahmad Shah Massoud faction, which is a rebel faction. They've issued a statement saying that the al-Qaeda still has a good chance for revival. The presence of al-Qaeda in Kabul is a clear sign that Afghanistan has once again become a hub and sanctuary for terrorist groups. This poses a serious challenge to the security and of the region and the world. The National Resistance Front has demanded cooperation of all nations. So this is what is the reaction that's come in from the Tajik faction and those who are there up in the mountains and trying to push out a rebellion and still try and fight out. So Amrullah Saleh is in Tajikistan. The NRF operatives are still there. There is still that particular region, even though they are trying to go after Ahmad Shah Massoud's son at this point. But Tariq Farhadi, coming back to you, and then Monica Verma, how would you see the NRF's response? Is there merit in what they are saying, that Taliban has become a sanctuary, a hub for terror factions? Now the eyewitness says Tehreek-e-Taliban Pakistan was present there. Al-Qaeda chief is present there. We know in Nangarhar, Jaish and Lashkar camps are currently on.
It is not news, basically. NRF is just riding on the wave and issuing a communique on this. But this is not news. Everybody knows that all these people are inside Afghanistan, all these terror groups, and no country wants to take them. That's the problem. Even if Zawahiri wanted to go somewhere else, who would take him? The Americans knew that it's a problem for the Taliban to keep these people, but they have to keep them in check, basically, and without any propaganda and military activity. This is the difficulty. And the Taliban are playing the TTP against Pakistan as a strategic depth inside Pakistan. In fact, they are facilitating negotiations with the TTP for Pakistanis, but they are not asking the TTP to conclude these negotiations. They are not putting any type of pressure. If the Taliban were serious about helping Pakistan on the account of TTP, they should just disarm the TTP inside Afghanistan. The TTP is a few thousand people. They can just disarm them, but they don't. They want to use the TTP in the scale of balance against Pakistan to negotiate other things with Pakistan. So it's a complicated situation.